Hey guys, welcome back to Popo's Woodworks. Today's project is going to be a stovetop cover, and our stove has got it doesn't have the raised burners. It's not a gas stove, it's just that flat top. So my wife's been wanting this. I figured I'd knock it out, even though it's 17 degrees in this shop right now. It's so cold I couldn't even cut my air compressor on. It just kept tripping the breaker. So I got my patio heater sitting over top of my air compressor trying to warm it up so I can get it going, because I'm gonna have to use that. And then I got my wood stove crackling over here, but it hadn't got warm yet. So anyway, this is gonna be a simple project. I think I just went to Lowe's and the lumber itself was 30 bucks for the lumber and the handles and all that we're gonna use. And I'll show you everything that I did buy. So we'll go ahead and get to cutting so I can get back in the house where it's warm. This is the lumber that I got. I got two 1x6 by 6 foot longs, and then one 1x4 by 4 foot. And Lowe's does have these. You have to look for them. They're on the bottom of the shelf where the racks are for these. And then I bought two handles, which is pretty much like gate handles or whatever you want to call it, the old style, and some felt. And I'm gonna put the felt on the bottom, that way taking it on and off over time doesn't scratch the stove. But my stove measures, I believe it's 29.5 inches wide if you're looking at the stove, and then it's going to be 22 inches this way from front to back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down to 29.5 widths. You see how this grain, the end grain, it kind of turns. You can see where it does like this. I'm gonna flip all those down. So basically, I'm gonna have it to where the rainbow, if you will, is pointed down. That way, if it decides to dry up, this is kindling dried, but that way, if it decides to dry up and it wants to bow and curl on the ends, it'll go down instead of up. Now that I got these laid out, I measured from here to here, which is 22 inches. So I cut these pieces down to 22. So basically now, this pretty much is it. You line them up on each end and make sure all of them are flush on both sides. And once I get that, I'm gonna use my brad nailer, and I'm gonna use 1 1/4 inch brads. And then of course, I'm gonna use glue. So basically, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna run a bead of glue down, then I'm gonna tack I probably put, I don't know, I might put 2 to 4 brads in each board, because ultimately the glue, when it dries, that's what's gonna hold all this together. So I'm gonna set my glue, it's solid as a rock, cold, but I'm gonna set it over here next to my heater, let it heat up a little bit so I can squeeze it out the bottle, and then we'll get started. This board is 22 inches long. I'm getting ready to put the handles on, so I'm gonna come down half of 22 is 11. So I'm gonna mark it, and then I'm gonna center up the handles and screw them down. I got the handles on now, so it's pretty much done. I'm gonna use my Silhouette Cameo, and we're gonna do a decal in the center, probably like an S for our last name or something. And anyway, we're gonna put that in there and then paint it on. But I'm gonna go ahead and stain it now, and then when I put the decal on, I'll show you what it looks like when it's completely finished. So here's the stove top, if you will, stained. So, like I said, it's pretty simple. It's just lumber like this is getting to the point, especially if you buy kindling dried, it's getting to the point where it's really high. But anyway, you can get a lot of years of use out of this. So once all this stain dries, which is going to take twice as long because it's so cold out here, then we'll do the decal in the center, paint it on, and then I'll show you what that looks like finished. This is the decal I made on my Silhouette. So basically, I'm going to peel this off, stick it to this, and then I'll take white paint and I'm going to paint all this stuff in because I just reversed it and using it as a stencil. Once all the paint dries, I'll peel this off and it's going to leave that decal here. Alright, so once you get the decal down, what I do is I take the paper, peel it off, and stick it back to it so I can do this. I'll peel that off, and I just kind of let gravity do its own thing. And just let it fall. And then once I get that, don't worry about the wrinkles because you're going to be painting it on. And you can work them out once you get the transfer paper off. So now I'll get a paper towel and I'll wipe it down and make sure it sticks really good, and I'll remove the transfer paper. Alright, so you take a little blotter and I just work it into the decal where I pulled the pieces out. And then after this coat dries, I'll go back and I'll do another coat over top of it. And this paint that I'm using is the acrylic craft paint. And it dries pretty fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and then put the second coat and then we'll peel it off. So now all you gotta do is just peel the decal off. Alright, these pieces of felt that I bought that's sticky on one side, now I'm going to take and peel them. And like I said before, I'm going to put those right on the edge. It really ain't got to be perfect, but this is going to keep it, when you set it down on the stove, it's going to keep it from scratching the stove. So I'll do two on the front. It's not, the back part's not going to touch. So I'll do one here. One here, and then I'm going to do two more right there. Alright, that's that. So this is what it looks like finished. And like I said, I got it to where the felt sits along this edge here. That way it doesn't scratch it with you taking it on and off. But that's it. If you got any questions, shoot me a comment. I'll be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. Like I always say, thank you for watching. Y'all have a nice day. Like and subscribe.